What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Pimpage Pickups, episode number 14. Guys, I have a ton of cards to show you. It has been probably like 4 months, a little over, since the last episode, so the buying hasn't stopped, but I just haven't had any time to put out one of these videos. So a lot of cards to go over. This first stack you're going to see is cards that I've picked up for either EDH or my cube binder, which is consists of cards that are not in my cube, but certainly have potential. And there's always the possibility of expanding into various archetypes, which I will get into in a bit, that you'll see. So first up, we got a Endbringer, Zulaport Cutthroat for my Gave deck. It's a pretty sweet combo card. Illusionist Bracers. Got this when it was cheap before the spike, and then it's back down to the cheap $2 range or whatever, so didn't lose any money on that one. Got Hardened Scales, Sylvan Safekeeper, solid card. It's a lot of fun to play with in EDH. Dictate of Erebos, Sadistic Hypnotist. This is also really fun in Gave deck, where you're making a lot of little tokens to sacrifice. Picked up an Attrition, also very good in the token making deck. Seedborn Muse, which most of you probably are wanting to get your hands on at this point. I picked this up with some Brute Force Games credit, near mint, $35. This was before Prophet of Kruphix was banned in EDH. I picked it up because I loved Prophet of Kruphix in my Animar deck. It was probably like 99% of the tutored target of choice for that deck to get out. And so because I love that effect so much, I wanted it in my Gave deck, which obviously can't play Prophet because of the blue. So I got the Seedborn, and good timing. Picked it up before it spiked. So happy to have that. Molten Vortex, kind of getting into some cube cards now. It's got potential. Heartbeat of Spring, Brain Maggot. Sometimes you might want that second Mesmeric Fiend effect. Carnophage. I probably will never, ever run Black Aggro in my cube. But the price was really good on it. I figured maybe, just maybe, one day somebody might want me to add Black Aggro, and it would be nice just to have a bunch of these kind of cards. So there you have it. Again, Geralf's Messenger, mono Black Aggro kind of card. I just don't care for that kind of archetype, so it probably never will make it. Puppeteer Click, very good card, just not in the cube. Bane of the Living. If I ever decide to include Morph in my cube, then this is a solid card, and I figured might as well go ahead and maybe pick up a couple of the good Morph creatures here and there. But as it stands right now, Morph is not in my cube, not a single one. Next up, Tezzeret the Seeker. This Modern Masters foil was dirt cheap. I think I paid $5 for it, $4 or $5. Crazy how low the price is on this guy. I know that there's a lot of printings in the dual deck or whatever, but yeah. Kira, Great Glass Spinner. I decided to go ahead and pick up this Betrayers Kamigawa? I think so. Anyways, one of the Kamigawa sets. Kira, Great Glass Spinner, picked it up. Slight play off Channel Fireball for 20 bucks. Wanted to get this before any possible spike in Modern, which, I'm recording this after the Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch. I don't think we have anything to worry about until they do something probably to even the playing field with the Eldrazi decks. That's my guess, at least. Angel of Serenity. It's a good reanimation target. Likewise with Iona. Got this for 8 bucks. So quite the difference from when it was just a Rise of Eldrazi card. It was way over the $100 mark. I think it was like $130 for the foil, something like that. And my, have the Mighty Fallen with reprint. So there you go, $8 Iona. Bounding Krasis, just kind of a combo card if I ever needed it. Also potential with Animar. Villainous Wealth. Reflector Mage, you guys probably saw me crack this open on camera. Really want to try to work this into my cube. I'm a big fan of tempo cards. Love Reflector Mage. I just don't have an open Azorius slot right now, so if I expand the cube, say I add 1 slot to each guild, this will definitely be the card that I put in. But right now, it just doesn't quite make the cut, even though I'm trying to figure out if I can, because I like this card a lot. Next up, Kadoltha Forge Master. Just a sweet combo kind of card. You know, search up like a Blightsteel or something. Lotus Petal. It's just a nice kind of fast mana rock, you know, one-time use, but not in the cube. I don't really like it too much. This thing typically retails for like 28, I think, is the SCG high-end price, so obviously a little bit lower, but I paid 13 bucks for it, so I'm pretty happy to at least have this, primarily for a Storm archetype, which is what I started picking up now. I know I got a couple friends that do enjoy Storm, so I might, every so often, throw Storm in there and cycle some of the other cards out. So along with Lotus Petal, I got the Manamorphose from Shadowmoor. Empty the Warrens with the Brain Freeze. Tendrils of Agony. Frantic Search. I'll still be getting some more like Wheel of Fortune foil and stuff. And then last but not least, Yawgmoth's Will. This was a fantastic pickup off Channel Fireball, slight play for 60 bucks. Plus I got another 5% off because I used the promo code HAUF because I watch his streams and stuff. So yeah, really happy to get such a nice looking cheap Yawgmoth's Will. Alright, that's for the first stack. Time to get into the second stack of foils. I went ahead and decided to pick up all of these, the new cycle of dual lands from Battle for Zendikar. So we got the Cinderglade, Smoldering Marsh, Canopy Vista, Prairie Stream, and Sunken Hollow. I don't know if they'll ever end up making the cube, but they're like dirt cheap right now, and it's probably a good time to get them, at least before things start switching around in Standard, because who knows, maybe they'll pop up once we lose fetches and all that kind of stuff. Alright, moving along. Now, I've had these Apocalypse Old Border Painlands, but I don't think I've ever showed them off. They kind of were used for my EDH decks. The last 4 Painlands I picked up were new additions. These things I really, really like. If you don't have them for your cube, it's probably not a bad time. Go ahead and just pick them on up. Effectively, they are tri-lands, producing colorless and, you know, the 2 colors at the cost of 1 life. But a tri-land as opposed to like a revised dual, which cannot produce colorless, you know, like the waste symbol. These lands are really good. I've been monitoring them quite a bit. I know that the like Brushland was on Star City Games near mint at 20. They raised it to 30. The Darker Waste was on their website for like 35 near mint, and now it's up to 50. So probably good time to go ahead and pick these up. So here we go. Battlefield Forge, Caves of Koilos, got the Land of War Wastes, Yavimaya Coast, Shivan Reef. This one's gone up a decent chunk. Also, that blue-red colorless Eldrazi deck that was in the modern Oath of the Gatewatch Pro Tour did really well, and I think it ran 4 Shivan Reefs, so I think this is up to like 30 now, something like that. And I got the Karplusan Forest, so all 6 of those I had previously. The new ones include Sulphurous Springs. Really scarce card. This was hard to find, and I somehow lucked out on eBay and won this in an auction for $9 free shipping. I was really surprised. Most often you can't find this for like under 20. But yep, Sulphurous Springs. Brushland, just talked about it on Star City. This was had completely dried up. Star City had a slight play for $16, and I bought it. It was the last copy, so of course I get charged sales tax and shipping from them since I live in Virginia, but still it was under $20 for the card. And now there's, I think, 2 copies that I saw, at least at the time of recording, on TCG Player at the $20 range. So this one, I think, going up some. Got the Underground River and the Darker Wastes, which, again, this one popped up. I was happy to pick this up near mint off of Troll and Toad for, I think it was like 34. And now, like, it's just a hard card to find, and it's retailing for much higher. I went ahead and scored Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. I know that this card was kind of on its way up as well, with the Eldrazi decks floating around in Modern. And I was like, well, it's not in the cube right now. It is definitely cube worthy, and I might try to include it. But I went ahead and picked this up for 30 bucks. So I did miss out a little bit on this one, but I didn't want it to go any higher. So I went ahead and picked it up. All right, these cards are all the ones that have included in my cube now. I went with all 10 man lands. The other ones have already been included, like Celestial Colonnade and the originals. But these new ones are in the cube now. So Needle Spires, got Hissing Quagmire, Lumbering Falls, Shambling Vent, and Wandering Fumarole. So we'll see how those do. If these end up not being terribly great, I will definitely go with those Painlands. If I expand my cube to, say, just straight up incorporate the Storm archetype, then the Painlands will definitely be included, as will these Manlands. I really like the original Manlands. I haven't really tried these ones out yet, so I'll be anxious to see how they perform. And I'll make my judgment call from there. Sylvan Advocate. It's a lot of really good stuff from Oath of the Gatewatch for Cube. Went ahead and got this guy. Solid creature, and since I'm running all 10 man lands, it definitely can help. Plus, there's cards like Treetop Village and some other stuff. Oath of Nissa. Just a pretty good card overall. Trinket Mage. I used to have the Scars of Mirrodin one, and then sold it off and didn't have Trinket Mage in my cube, and quite honestly, Trinket Mage in a powered cube just needs to be in there. So I went ahead and got the 5th Dawn one quite some time ago. I just don't know if I've showed you guys, so there it is, Trinket Mage. Picked up this beta Control Magic from Brute Force Games, really cheap. They list it as moderately played. Obviously, you can see a little bit of like whitening and stuff, but $12. So pretty happy with a beta Control Magic for 12. As far as the like white bordered cards, I haven't really decided what I want to do with yet. I know I'm not going to touch the dual lands and the Power 9. I'm going to leave them as is. So anytime you flip to like a white bordered card as you're scrolling through the pack, it's like, oh, I know this is going to be good. So right now I'm kind of in the midst of, okay, with the remainder white bordered cards, do I try to swap them out into betas, or do I just go ahead and like alter the cheap version of it, like a revised or whatever? This one was so cheap, I went ahead and just got this beta, and I'll still kind of make the decision later. But there you have the Control Magic. Next up is a alteration of Hymn to Turok. Love, love, love this Quentin Hoover artwork. And found this on eBay. Buy it now for $14. It's really good quality. I'm really impressed with how awesome this turned out and looks. I just kind of was, browsing through and stumbled across it and bought it, and I'm really happy with it. The thing is, I don't really care for the FTV foils. Now, that being said, I am all about foils for Cube. So I've kind of come at an impasse now as far as, do I continue with the FTV 20 Hymn to Turok foil, or do I go with this one? Personally, I like this one better, so I will be using this one for the time being. But then that brings me to my next point of, okay, with the rest of the FTV foils, which are the only foil cards, say like a Smokestack, do I continue using that FTV foil, or do I get like the original Smokestack out of Urza's Saga and then have it hand-painted, altered, and put that in a cube? Don't know yet. I will stick with the current foils as is, and as time passes, I'll kind of make that decision. But couldn't pass this Quentin Hoover artwork up. Just really, really sick alteration. Moving right along, we've got Fact or Fiction. I had the promo, and now I replaced it with the old border. Perforos, really solid card. I added it in my Animar deck and decided to go ahead and just put it in the cube. Kind of is a nice little addition as far as red enchantments go, because there's not too many. Alright, got the old border Entomb out of Odyssey. Beautiful looking card. Got this really cheap, at least I felt it was. I think I paid like $42 or $43 for it. I used to have the promo version, the F&M one. I think it was F&M, not the Graveborn deck one, but anyways, got the old border now. And sticking with the old border theme, because that's what I'm all about. Boom! 7th edition City of Brass. This is beautiful. It really was a difficult choice between this and the JSS promo City of Brass. They're both old border. The JSS promo rocks the old school artwork, which is awesome, and it has flavor text, which is awesome. But for those of you that know me, I grew up on 7th edition. 7th edition is so nostalgic to me, and I love the artwork in 7th. And this just kind of brings back memories playing with this card, you know, cracking packs of 7th, you know, and seeing this card opened. So ultimately, I like this one better. I'd be fine with either one, to be quite honest. But yeah, this one is just it squeaks by just a little bit, and so I went with this. It was on Brute Force Games. I had store credit with them, and I picked it up for like $72, and then I got 10% off. And usually it retails, like the high end is $100, so pretty happy to have City of Brass. Next up is, oh man, Grim Lavamancer, old school from Torment. This card is really sick. I think it's like around $100 or so, and I ended up getting this off TCG Player for 66, I think it was. And then I think it was a Groundhog Day special or whatever, and I got a measly like 3% back in store credit. But anyways, I had sold some stuff on eBay, so I had some PayPal credit, so figured it was time to upgrade the Grim Lavamancer. Very beautiful card. All right, next up is a Metal Worker. All right, had to pause it so I could start a new recording. I was running out of space. So, Metal Worker, guys. This card, near mint, goes for about like 200 or so. Found this copy on Channel Fireball, slight play for 150. So I ordered it, had some credit, and normally they're really fast with shipping the card. They shipped it, and 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day past the expected delivery starts going by. So I look up the tracking, and this card, excuse me, was encountering a like a processing error at the Dulles post office sorting center or whatever, and I guess it needed some kind of human interaction to sort out whatever the error was. Maybe like the tracking barcode got messed up and it couldn't figure out where it was supposed to get sorted to, but for whatever reason it took a lot longer. I think it was like 9 or 10 days. I finally got the card, and when I got it, and this is typically not what I am used to from Channel Fireball, I don't think it was on their end. I think it was the post office during the processing. But let's see if you guys can see. You see this that crease all the way down? A perfectly straight vertical crease that runs the length of the card. Very strange. It's not like it's just a very minor indentation. Maybe crease is the wrong word. The card still lays flat. It's just a minor indentation. But my guess is, even though it was packaged really well, like it's possible that heavy equipment maybe did that. But I can't imagine this qualifying that as SP, because to the naked eye, unsleeved, you can still see it. Therefore, it clearly marks the card, so it's got to make it at least moderately played. And Channel Fireball doesn't use moderately played anymore, so it should have been heavy play. Anyways, I wasn't happy with the condition, especially at that price point, so I returned it for a full refund, and then bought that Yawgmoth's Will. But as luck would have it, I guess, or irony, the card ends up showing up on eBay, and the seller definitely made reference to the indentation, and I thought, well, that looks like the same card that I just had from Channel Fireball, and it was like 2 weeks later. But this one now on eBay was listed for $98, so I was like, well, the damage to the card, well, I wouldn't say damage, but the small indentation wasn't really that bad. And so I thought at $98, I was happy to have this card. You can't tell when it's double sleeved. You can't feel it or anything. The card still is beautiful, and now I have a foil metal worker for a very cheap price. So there's the metal worker story. All right, moving right along. The next is Grim Monolith. This card is sick. So a little story behind this one as well. I had took a break from selling on eBay for definitely over a few months. Apparently eBay wants to entice you back to selling, so it makes them money, obviously. And they said, well, Matt, if you sell $50 worth of stuff, we'll give you a $25 eBay coupon. And so I was like, all right, yeah, I can definitely sell that. So I sold $50, got a $25 eBay coupon, and had to use it by spending over, I think it was like $100 or $150 or something. Anyways, I saw this Grim Monolith on auction on eBay, and I was like, man, I really want this card. And so I placed a max bid of 187, and I was like, there's no way that I'm going to win this, because these things, very rarely do you see them sell for under 200. But I was like, 187, that's my high bid, and I'll go to sleep. And next morning I woke up, and wouldn't you know it, I won this card for 185. So I was like, no freaking way. Like $2 off the threshold. It was really sick to win. And when I factored in that eBay coupon, I basically scored this Grim Monolith foil for 160. Pretty happy about that. So Grim Monolith. All right, now moving right along is the last two cards. This one you haven't seen, and the last one I'm sure you can guess, but it's been like 4 months, so I might as well show it off again. But the second newest piece of power to my cube, well, it should actually be the most recent piece of power, because it was a Black Friday deal, is Mox Sapphire. Yes, got a Mox Sapphire. Let me go put this one off to the side there. So Mox Sapphire, Black Friday deal. This was from Troll and Toad. I had I think it was $750 of Troll and Toad credit, and this card came up on their market, I think like maybe a month to a month and a half before Black Friday. Listed originally for, I think it was $1,400, maybe it was $1,300. No, it was $1,400. I think like 2 or 3 weeks went by, they knocked it down to $1,300, and then a couple more weeks went by, and they knocked it down to $1,150, and I thought, oh, for sure, $1,150 for a Mox Sapphire. This card is gone, because it is hard to find Mox Sapphires sell under, $1,200. It's just how it is. Mox Sapphires just command a much higher price point than the other Moxes, and I thought at $1,150, and this being in like an excellent condition, I did not like my chances of it sticking around till Black Friday. But I stuck to my guns. I said if it does, then they should probably put it on a sweet Black Friday deal, because that's what they've done in years past, is usually will put their Moxes on a special. So I decided to wait, and I was patiently refreshing my computer about 15 minutes prior till midnight on Black Friday. Refresh. And wouldn't you know it, about 10 minutes before midnight, the price on the Mox Sapphire had dropped to $900. So I was able to use my $750 credit plus $150 and score a Mox Sapphire for my cube. And so here's what the back looks like. Very nice. I'm very, very pleased with its condition. And Troll and Toad definitely does take care of shipping their high ticket priced items. I know with the lower end stuff, some people complain it's not the best form of shipping, but this came in a top loader, bubble mailer, had to sign for it from UPS. So Mox Sapphire. Man, that is sick. So now all I do is need the Mox Pearl. And last but not least, which I'm sure you guys know, is Black Lotus. I got this with the help of Lengthy Zemet from Grand Prix Pittsburgh. I made a special trip out there to meet up with Jeremy and an attempt to trade off a bunch of revised duels for a Black Lotus. I was successful. Traded off 24 revised dual lands. It was 3 of each, except for no plateaus and no taigas. But I traded with Aether Games. Also 1 wasteland or 2 wastelands. I don't know. It was like measly, what do you call it? Pocket change at that point, like when you've already traded off 24 dual lands. But got the Black Lotus, real deal. In the cube, I never actually thought I would ever have a Black Lotus in my cube. But there you go. I got one now. So really happy. This one obviously has seen better days, but there's no like bends, creases, like actual damage to it. And by creases, I mean really like noticeable, like through touch. Obviously, there's like a shuffle crease up here, but you can't like feel it when it's sleeved. Plenty of whitening on the back, obviously, but overall, I'm really pleased with its condition, really pleased with the price point on it, being able to just make a trade for the card and not have to give up any cash. So, Black Lotus. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this super long Pimpage pickups. I had a lot to go over since I was making up for missed months in time. But by far, I think this is the most value impactful Pimpage pickups video. Stay tuned, guys, because I plan on going to Grand Prix Washington, D.C. in March, and Mission Mox Pearl is a go. I will be attempting to get a Mox Pearl, and hopefully I will be picking up another vintage staple card to put in the cube pretty soon, and I will not spoil that one away. But yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. See ya!